complete. Our whole theme for the month is The Wizard Within. I love sacred mythology. In fact, I was such a student of Joseph Campbell, and he wrote The Power of Myth. And he had a series on PBS, and it was so powerful as we acknowledge that each one of us, we are the hero or the heroine in our own lives. So in this wonderful work by Frank Baum, in fact, I have the original of The Wizard of Oz that was given by my late husband's colleague. They taught elementary school together. And he had given Neil this wonderful original work of The Wizard of Oz that his great-grandfather wrote. And what is so miraculous about it? It's everyone's journey. And that if you look at the times that we are living in right now, and there's this tremendous cyclone, and our house, you know, and the symbolic house and our physical houses seem to be caught up in this incredible eye of the cyclone. And what we know at the deepest level is that when we land, and we are landing, and sometimes we are landing on that which is loomed up and no longer serves us. And if you recall that when Dorothy, she came home and she wanted to get the attention of Auntie Em and Uncle Henry, and they were very busy with all their farm work. And Auntie Em said, "Now, Dorothy, don't bother us right now. Just go find some place where you don't get into trouble. Just find some place else." And she thought, find a place where I don't get into trouble. Okay. And then went right into somewhere over the rainbow. And when the rainbow appears, we are told in the scripture, "I will remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings." When the rainbow appears, and that each and every one of us, we are in the Hopis, believe that we're part of the rainbow tribe. And that being part of this rainbow tribe that penetrates color, race, creed, sexual orientation, that penetrates all of that into the oneness realm where we live and move and have our being. And so Dorothy goes into somewhere over the rainbow, and this is a wonderful land where bluebirds sing. And she is envisioning this. And when this incredible cyclone hits, and she's caught up in that energy, and that house lands on the wicked witch of the east, all that no longer serves, there it is. And suddenly, what? She's on a quest. Each and every one of us, we are on a spiritual quest by virtue of the fact that we came into the planet and we were absolutely made for such a time as this. Yes, we chose to be here at this time. And when we take responsibility for that, we are no longer at the effect of it. We are on the solution level. And when we are on the solution level, we don't dip down into other realms. And if we do, we catch ourselves up. When I feel a lower energy, I know that that's a trigger symbol for me to go within to the secret place of the Most High. That secret place of the Most High is where? It's within each and every one of us. "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man, woman hear my voice, let them answer. And I will come into them and sup with them, and they with me." In other words, I will come into them, and we will join together in this holy communion of a higher energy field. It doesn't matter what we call God. Higher power, Father, Mother, universal intelligence, Jehovah, Buddha, Yahweh, it matters not. But to acknowledge there's a power and a presence within us that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our one life. And when we are in the world and doing our dance in the world, to remember we are of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency. And guess what? We've all got the ruby red slippers the magical slippers. Remember what our feet represent? Understanding. The Bible states, with all you're getting, get understanding. For there is a spirit within man and within woman, and the breath of the Almighty hath given them life and understanding. The breath, the prana, the life force energy. What are we giving life force energy to? And if we're giving it to the outer world of conditions, appearances, and effects, that does not serve. That's the relative world. And believe me, in the 45 years of my ministry, I've heard people say, well, in the real world, I want you to know, out there is not the real world. The real world is within us. This outer world is the relative world of conditions, appearances, and effects, and they can show up blatantly in horrific ways when we're about our Father, Mother, God's business, and we are on the solution level. Then we join up with like-minded energies. And through this like-minded energy, this Christ consciousness, this Buddha nature, the holy I am presence, all of these energies that arise. And we're told that there's one God, Allah is his name. It does not matter what we call our higher power. That it does move beyond religion into the spiritual foundation of our soul. And as our soul meets one another, we experience our oneness. So yes, we have the power within us. We're wearing the ruby slippers. We're on a spiritual quest. We're caught up in the energy of the world that takes us up in what's called a twister, and this incredible tornado, and lands us on that which no longer serves. And then we peer open that door. And what I loved about the film and The Wizard of Oz from 1939 is that it's all in black and white. But the minute that house lands, she opens the door, and what? There is magnificent color. She's in the land of Munchkins, the little people. And they hold her up as their heroine because that house landed on the Wicked Witch of the East, wearing the ruby slippers. And when the good witch, Glenda, comes from the north, and she says, the Munchkins want to know, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And Dorothy says, I'm not a witch at all. I'm a girl. I'm Dorothy Gale from Kansas. And she looks down at Toto and says, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore because we have made a shift in consciousness. And we have landed in this amazing, amazing sacred space where all the little people come out, and the flowers and the energy and the color and the warmth, that we have left where we were. And remember, any man putting his hand to the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom of God. We cannot look back and expect that we're going to move forward into a higher consciousness. We got to let go of the past. We got to let go of Kansas. We got to let go of the way that it was. We are in the land of Munchkin now, and we are listening to the signs and the symbols that go before us, and there's this amazing good witch. And Dorothy said, I didn't know that witches were beautiful like you. And Glenda says, only the bad witches are ugly. Think about it. Only the bad witches are ugly. In other words, as within, so without, right? And that as we acknowledge the beauty and the energy that is within us is reflected in the outer world, and that we are on the spiritual quest, and that our sacred mythology is leading us to ourselves, leading us to oneness. And through all the myriad of roles that we play and all the experiences that we have led us to this present moment in time. And when we're off to see the wizard, that wizard is out there when we first start our quest. And many times God is out there when we start our quest. Many have an idea that God is an anthropomorphic God, sitting in this great throne with a long white beard. And I made a Freudian slip on our Wednesday Night Live. I said, with a little white book. So he's come up in my estimation, I guess. Usually a little black book. Saying, okay, that's 2. 3, and you're out. You're going to hell. And we know that heaven and hell are not physical locations. They are what? They are by right of consciousness. And so when we are in heaven, we are in that state of oneness. And when we are in hell, we are caught up in the relative world of all the stuff that shows up that we give our power away to. All that outer stuff. We give our power away to it. We make it real. And of course, at times it does seem real, doesn't it? I had an episode this week where almost 2 years ago I had back surgery, and I had lifted something out of the trunk, and I thought I'll just, lift with my knees, and I'll set it down quickly right here in the garage. And so when I did that, I kind of felt something strain. And so the rest of the week I had this incredible pain in my side. And so I would lay down on my slant board and I would go, I am perfect, complete, and whole. I am perfect, complete, and whole. I forgive myself for knowing that, what I should not have done, I did. Because we all do that, don't we? And so I just went through and started really being in that energy. And it hurt like hell. It really did. And I just would transcend it and do the next thing that was on my agenda and do this Zoom presentation and that Zoom presentation, which is really a wonderful technology to get our message out into the world as part of this global opportunity to make a difference. And just as we are experiencing a global pandemic, that there is another energy that's coming in. And that is the energy that penetrates anything unlike itself, the energy of the light that penetrates the darkness comprehended it not, and shadows flee away forever and ever and ever. And when I got on the other side of this experience, and I would say wherever pain seems to be operating, the presence of God is, I would do all the affirmations, and even though it was very painful, and it takes a certain level of perseverance that when we're in the middle of our pain, to know the truth for ourselves and to offer it up. And as I offered it up each moment, moving past the pain and in the remembrance, the cellular memory of feeling good. And this is when we have a cellular memory in consciousness about a world that works for everyone. And in our country, we've had a lot of work to do. A lot of work. We are calling in transformation. We are calling in the energies of the angels, the archangels, and all enlightened beings to cleanse, purify, harmonize, balance, attune, and heighten the energy fields to lift this planet to a new level of consciousness, a consciousness of oneness. May peace prevail on earth. May I see those that seem like different colors and ways of life and cultures, that they are part of me, that through them I grow and I learn and I unfold in miraculous ways. And when we can understand that we accept one another. And I was just sharing before the service, it's very difficult. I had the opportunity to view a film, and it was called Just Mercy. I recommend it highly. And there were times in that film where I wept. And I was tempted to fast forward through those times of cruelty. And I just stayed with it because this happened. This happened. And so I need to add my light and my energy and whatever prejudices that I have within myself about those intolerant and the bullies and the ones that are projecting on to the innocent, then I need to heal myself about them, because I have judgments about that. And so I would just go within and realize that we all come into the planet as perfect, complete, and whole. We all come in with our own sacred mythology, that we all have that wizard within us that we can call upon, that can transform the routines of work into celebrations of life and love as we follow that yellow brick road. as we acknowledge that the powerful slippers on our feet, the understanding that is within us, is going to lead us home. Not to Kansas per se, but to home within ourselves. That we find ourselves, that we are at home in ourselves, so that we can reach out beyond color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and those that are intolerant of the lesser, the innocent, that we can draw the larger circle. And I was so deeply moved by one of the segments where the person in Just Mercy testified against this beautiful African-American man, and he lied. And it was incumbent upon his conscience to say, I perjured myself. I lied. And then he was talking to this beautiful black attorney from Delaware. He said, you know, I went from foster home to foster home. Nobody wanted me. One day I was, you know, in the basement, and a fire started, and I could smell burning flesh, and he shared this incredible story. And the attorney had compassion for him, and he extended his compassion, and out of that, this gentleman told the truth, that he had perjured himself to save himself, because he was going to also go on death row along with this beautiful African-American man who Jamie Foxx did an amazing job. And in these interesting times, it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to tell the truth. And in telling the truth, it's not political. And I am not political. I believe in civil rights, I believe in human rights, I believe in social justice, equality, liberty for all. This is not political. This is about humanity. This is about extending through and reaching to the very heart and soul of humanity, and to that place where each and every one of us live. So when we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, to realize that which I am seeking is seeking me. The thing I'm looking for, I'm looking with. I am that. And this is going to be a wonderful series, because we're going to go into our sacred mythology. We're going to go into our thoughts and our fears. We're going to go into the affirmations that allow us to be who we are and to come out on the other side, so that when we return home, we are absolutely transformed by the renewing of our minds, by the renewing of our heart. We're on a spiritual quest. And I acknowledge each and every one of you who are viewing this message. We're on a spiritual quest, and you're part of it, I'm part of it, and we're going together. And we're going someplace today, and that is where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. For we are in a high place, and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place, and we will not come down. I say namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding, and God blesses everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Please know that I love you, that I acknowledge your commitment to Interfaith Spiritual Center, and I turn it over to Fleet, who has got something so wonderful planned for us this morning. Take it away, dear Fleet.